All right, well, good morning, my friends. Today I want to talk to you about exercising your power to write your own story. Have you ever had anybody in your life who thought they had you all figured out? Perhaps they talk about you behind your back, or even to your face, or even to you about you, and it's in disparaging ways or less than flattering. Let's just put it that way, less than flattering ways. It may not be all bad, but you don't like the report that you're hearing, and you'd like to think that people thought of you a little bit differently. You know you've tried. You know you tried to grow and to mature, yet somehow you're missing the mark, and you believe that you are because everyone seems to be reflecting an image back to you that, for all intents and purposes, is less savory in your mind than you had anticipated. Well, it could be that you're listening to the wrong people. And if you are, and you take this stuff to heart, then there's your story, the story of your life, whatever that is, will be shaped by those around you. And you need to understand that you have the power to transform things, to transform your life, your story. And I don't mean in the most dramatic of ways. I'm not trying to be all I'm not trying to hype anything. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm just concerned because I have run into this in my own life on a number of occasions. Here's what made me think of this. Listen to this. In 1963, a 16-year-old sent a 4-question survey to 150 well-known authors, 75 of which replied. That's a very good turnaround. In order to prove to his English teacher, to his English tutor, that writers don't intentionally add symbolic content to their books. Now, this is a theory I've postulated for a long time. I love to read, and I love to listen to podcasts or to interviews of authors or or people that have read these books. And I've noticed that there's a lot of, not with the authors themselves, but with people who review or people who teach, professors, English teachers. There's a pomposity and an arrogance there that I don't like. You know what I'm talking about? Where they will tell you what the story means. They'll talk about all the symbolism and the metaphors, and before you know it, they've actually rewritten the story so that it no longer means what it sounds like on the surface. Hope this camera's not blowing around too much. It is very, very breezy out here today. But they have exercised their power to rewrite someone else's story. And you say, well, some books are meant to be like that. Well, if they are, they'll tell you. They'll tell you. But I don't think by and large they are. I've often thought to myself that if these authors like Dostoevsky, Robert Louis Stevenson, Charles Dickens, Mark Twain, if they could, people like that, people of that ilk, if they could come back and hear the revelations that are being dispersed in classrooms all across the nation, they might go, no, it's just a story I wanted to write. I think you missed the forest for the trees. It's just a story. Now, it might resonate with you on a deeper level than with someone else, or vice versa. It might mean something to you that it doesn't mean to somebody else, or vice versa. But nevertheless, to take it upon yourself to tell other people what someone's story means is arrogant. And where I'm going with this is that we all have a story, don't we? We do all have a story. And there have been people in your life and mine that have taken the liberty to look us square in the eye and tell us, I've got you figured out. Here's how you are. And it's a power that they should not have. And you may have let it sway you. You might not have believed them at first, said, no, 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 you don't understand where I'm coming from. Here's what I mean when I act this way, when I say this, that, and the other. When I tell you I feel a certain way about something, here's where what I really mean. And they'll tell you, well, listen, I understand a thing or two about psychology, and what this really means is, or I've known you long enough that where this is really coming from is, and you listen to them and go, oh wow, I guess I do have a problem. I wish I was better. Don't let other people write your story for you. You know, you can't unwrite something. You can look back in your past, and you need to be honest with yourself and understand that you can't unring a bell, but you need to look reality square in the eye and see it for what it is. Not everyone's understood you as well as you've understood yourself, and if you listen to other people long enough, you won't understand yourself any longer either. And that makes it very hard to change unless you become like a chameleon and let other people shape who you are. If you let other people color your soul. So I can remember a couple of times, several times, where I have seen how I behaved. I've looked at my own story, and I looked at my own life, and I've said, well, I don't like how things are turning out, and I think the reason is because I'm reacting or I'm behaving in certain ways. I'm going to rewrite this story. I can't rewrite what's already been done, but I can shape the story going forward, right? And we all do this. We all make a commitment that we're going to change. We're going to do things differently. And I remember with several different people at different times, years spanned apart, where something went down. And I had an option of how I was going to react, behave, or the things I was going to say. I had a choice. But I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to change my story going forward. So instead of reacting, uh, sharply, violently, or whatever, I made up my mind. I'm going to be cool. I'm going to be cool about this. I knew what I wanted to do, and when I did it, although my behavior was healthy at that point, these people looked right at me and said, this is not who you are. See, they couldn't predict anymore what I was going to do. I threw them off because they thought they had me figured out. And while I was reacting in a very good way, they didn't like it because they didn't know what to do. They were relying upon their own understanding of who they thought I was. And they tried to convince me, no, you're being a hypocrite. Because this isn't how you really are. I know how you really are. I know how you really feel. And this is fake. You know what I told them? This is who I am now. This is who I am now. You can shape your story going forward. You can't change things in the past, but you can scope things out and take careful observations of who you are, understand what you've done wrong, and give yourself credit for what you've done right. Stop listening to everyone else. Don't let them write your story for you. Because you'll get further and further away from the truth and from understanding yourself if you continue to do that. It's your story, not theirs. They don't get to do that. Don't give them that power. Take it back. Decide who you want to be. I'm not saying go off the rails if that's what you want to do. I'm not saying follow your feelings completely. There are people who will do that. Be moral, be just, be kind, be humble. Those are the things you ought to want to be. That's the kind of character you want to have going forward. I'm not saying that I always fill the bill, but it's an effort. It's a conscious effort. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how well anybody knows me. I'm not going to let them write my story, and you shouldn't either. Think about that. Think about that. I hope that's helped. If you're wondering what I have in my beard today, I do have in Artist Man's black coffee beard oil. It smells just like you think it does. It smells great. And I also put in there black coffee beard butter. I love their beard butter. It's very soft. And this even has somewhat of a beige beige color to it, almost coffee-like, like a light coffee-like. But it's very, very nice. And even the oil does too. It has that kind of an appearance. I love Artist Man. I've been using them for a long time. If you want to check them out and try them out for yourselves, you can. I'll leave a link down below. Well, it's just artistman.com. You can use my code any time of the year, not just Christmas time when there's specials going, but this is good. This is 20% off. It's code Greg20. So look at that. I also love their beard combs. This is very, very nice. I have one that's a little bit wider tooth than this, but the bigger your beard gets, the nicer your comb needs to be. You need to be very picky and very particular about them. Artist Man does have very nice combs, among many other things, washes, conditioners, and so on and so forth. So anyway, oh, by the way, if you like the hat that I'm wearing, my Docker's cap, I'll leave a link for that down below also. You can get a whole number of these, 15% off anything on their site. By the way, if you order, I forgot to mention this on the video I did about these caps themselves. If you order 2 or more items, shipping is free. Great stuff. I love their caps. Anyway, guys, I hope that this has spoken to you and resonated in a way that is meaningful. Hopefully, it's reaching somebody at the right time. It could have struck right to the heart of things for someone who's searching. And it could be that you know someone who needs to hear this and is in dire need of someone to tell them that this kind of thing, who's been there. So anyway, if you haven't liked the video, please do so. Comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Tap the notification bell for more videos like this. And I will see you on the next one. I've enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for joining me. In the meantime, be wise.